Hi, everyone that's here. Stand by. We're going to start at top of the hour. Hi, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. Hi, everyone. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to this month's quick win. 'Tis the season to declutter, la 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 la, right? It's the time. We got to make some space because there's going to be so much more that's happening in our life at this point, right? So I'm so glad you're here. I think this is a really timely presentation, and I'm going to show you how to go from clutter to clarity, how to overcome, streamline your clutter, and go from overwhelmed and organized and to organized and clear-minded. So let's get going. I'm glad you're here. 300,000. The average house harbors over 300,000 items. Yeah, that's a study by the LA Times, and that was in 2014, right? 300,000 items. We have too much stuff. Social psychology bulletins suggest that a cluttered home environment can contribute to feelings of stress, anxiety, depression, and conversely, decluttering, which you're going to learn how to do today, and organizing your living spaces can lead to improved mental spaces, a general better well-being, and a control over one's environment. Now, as we go into the holidays, we tend to get a little bit more stressed, whether it's family, whether it's stuff, whether it's obligations. So this is the time right now to seize the day and clear some space in your life. Yeah, that's what we're here for. So if you feel like you're not really sleeping well, or you're stressed out, or you're fatigued, or you're just plain exhausted, it could be because you have too much stuff in your environment. And you might say, well, when you go to clutter, but I might need it, I might want it, I might use it, I might have to lend it. That's my favorite one. But what if my neighbor wants to borrow it, right? Or I might regret getting rid of it. Okay, we're going to overcome all of those feelings as we go through it. Because too much stuff means that you're wasting time, you're wasting money, and you're probably going a little bit nuts so. And it's a burden on you, and it's a burden on others when you have too much stuff as well. So how do you solve the problems? By finding things when you need them. When you stop buying duplicates of things that you already own, but you can't find, right? And you're not going to leave clutter for others to find later and have to deal with. You know, you need to spend time to make time. And a lot of my clients will hire me one-on-one to clear their clutter. You can do that, but I'm also going to give you tips right now that you can actually do on your own, because I don't want you to waste time, money, or run late all the time, right? You want to learn how to organize like a pro organizes. Did you realize that 40% of the nuts squirrels bury, they lose? 40%. Now, that gives us trees. And I love watching squirrels. They always seem to be busy. They're jumping from branch to branch, but 40% of her efforts are gone, okay? And it reminds me of my entrepreneurial clients, right? One of my clients, Sarah, she was tenacious. She was resourceful. She was jumping from branch to branch. She was doing all this stuff, but she kept losing her data. She kept losing her mind. She kept losing sleep because she had too many systems fighting in the background of her business. Some were working, some were not. Take, for instance, when we went to organize her, we ended up with 5 staplers, no staples. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, this is what happens. So we're just like squirrels. We're jumping around. You know, anybody say squirrel? I know we've heard that expression, that this is what happens when we're squirrel chasers, when we're not completing a task, we're jumping onto another task, or maybe we're buying another stapler, but we don't have any staples. So, you know, humans, just like squirrels, we're just like little squirrels. I mean, I was a professional squirrel chaser. Someone with ADD, you know, I would jump, I would chase shiny objects, right? And then I realized that only 20% of what I was doing actually moved the needle on my business. And only 20% of it actually buying actually helped me. And when we stop buying things that we never use, that really helps eliminate our overwhelm. You know, how would it feel if you could stop buying stuff and then realize later that you already owned it, and you stop jumping from branch to branch and find things that you know that you own quickly? Yeah, quickly. That's the key right there. Finding things quickly. And you'd be able to spend more time, more quality time with your family, have more time for friends. You'd have more time in general because you wouldn't be wasting time trying to find stuff. And, you know, time is the only thing that's finite here. That's the one thing that we cannot make more of. We can't make more time. We can spend it differently. We can use it differently. We can waste it differently. But we can't more, right? So Only 20% of what we do actually will help us. 20% of what we buy will actually help us. 20% of our efforts are actually going to get things done. So the question is, what is the 20% that's going to work for you? And what's the 40% like squirrels that's going to be wasted, or 80%? The Pareto principle, everywhere, I've been teaching for this for 20 years. And what's interesting to me is that the 80-20 rule is everything, right? So let me see if I can I'll mute someone there. 80% is the stuff that will not move the needle, and 80% will only bring a small amount of happiness, but 20% is going to be what's going to help you in the long run. So Pareto principle, everything. I mean, 80% of the stuff in my room probably is useless, right? And 20% is only what I use, like my computer, my screen, my little heater right now. So if you'd like to be able to laser focus on your most important task, here's the thing about it. You can't get things done if you can't find your keys. You can't get things done if you can't get dressed in the morning to run out the door for an appointment to make a good impression, right? So it pays to create streamlined systems that support you. And what I love about my job is that every person needs a little bit of a different system to support them. Maybe they're really good at organizing their kitchen, but they just can't get into their closet and find a proper outfit, right? So the thing is, you create a system based on you. And when you eliminate the piles of clutter and the half-baked, what I call nutty systems in your background, then you're going to have more time. So raise your hand, your digital hand, if you'd like to have and stop wasting time right now. Anybody out there interested in that? Anybody? Okay. Well, I'm going to show you a simple way how to do that right now. Yeah, love it. I don't know how much you know about me. I think some of us have met, some of us have not. But a long, long time ago, I was a yacht delivery captain. I delivered sailboats. I wanted to get paid to sail for a living. So I became a captain. I was delivering yachts all around. I was living out of a duffel bag. And when you're out to sea, you pretty much need to know what you have, and it needs to be minimal, and you need to be able to find it quickly. Flash forward after that, I became a travel writer, had a little bit of wanderlust in my youth, and I was on the road 42 weeks a year, and I was living out of a suitcase. Same thing. When you're in a suitcase, you got to have what you need, and not any more, not any less, because you're traveling. Well, what's interesting to me is that pretty much started my career as an organizer, even though I didn't know at the time what an organizer was. I remember I was out in the middle of the Gulf Stream, and I was thinking to myself about everything back in my apartment, and I was realizing that nothing really mattered. There was like one thing that I wanted back there because I had everything I needed on board. So I'd go back to my apartment and I'd purge. I had the clarity to know what I didn't need because I had been away from it for so long, it didn't really matter. Same thing as a travel writer. I'd come back to my apartment and I'd purge. Now, this was way before I knew anything about, about organizing, but I did have the clarity and I did purge. So flash forward after, and that was way before Marie Kondo or anything like that. Flash forward, I moved to San Diego and I met this woman, and she was on a healing journey, and she had a year off to kind of reinvent herself. And she was my prayer partner at the time. I was transitioning careers, trying to figure out what does Kathi want to do when she grows up, right? and I went to her house and I'm like, girlfriend, you're never going to be able to heal when you're surrounded by all this stuff. It's just not going to work for you. So I helped her purge, and we started purging, and we got rid of some stuff, and she felt really, really good. And she goes, you're really good at this. You should become a professional organizer. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And she goes, oh, listen to me, meet my girlfriend. She's been hiring a pro for many, many years. So I had an interview with the lady, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like something right up my alley. I can absolutely do this. So I jumped on the bandwagon, became a professional organizer and a personal stylist, because I've been doing that for years with my clients, or for my girlfriends anyhow. And flash forward, I took the exam. I became board certified. That was 20 years ago. Now I actually help write the exam review questions for the board, and actually review the matrix. But I'm not saying all that to brag, because what happened is, right after I became a board certified, Good Morning America featured me as a successful woman startup business. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. I was just blessed. It was just like serendipity, right? Since then, I published a book and I've been in all the magazines and all that. And I'm not saying it to brag, just I want you to know that, well, when I take the advice, I want to take the advice of an expert. And that's the reason I'm going into all that. Been around, been there, done that. It's not my first rodeo, so to speak. Okay, enough about me. So time, the only thing we can't make more of is time. It is our most precious commodity because once it's gone forever. And that's why you're here. I know, because you know that if you're organized, you're going to save time and get that time back. You know, losing time with our kids or our loved ones is tragic. You know, back in the days before there's video cameras, I had a client and I helped her organize her home. And she came, she said, sit down, Kath, I have to talk to you about that. She goes, the biggest thing that happens to me right now is now when something happens for my children, I can find the phone and the video camera right away and I can shoot them. I can catch them in their element. That's the biggest thing that was given to me through this decluttering process. I know where my batteries are. This is back in the day with the video cameras, right? Remember that? And she said, that's a big gift to me because now I can actually capture those precious moments. And this is what happens. You know, 90% of the respondents believe that a clean and organized home positively impacts their mental well-being. This lady not being able to find and capture these moments with their children and capture it on camera was huge for her. And that totally increased her mental well-being, so much so that she sent me one of her cute little clips afterwards. And it was pretty cool. But, you know, she's not alone because we all want better mental well-being. And I can't tell you how many people, how many of my clients, when they first come to me, they're not sleeping. They're not sleeping at night because they're laying in bed and they're counting all their to-dos, right, on the ceiling. And they're just counting their to-dos. So you're under constant stress when you can't find your keys, your wallet, your phone, your glasses. And with 300,000 possessions in your home, it's no wonder that you're running late all the time trying to grasp these things, right? So who here has never lost their keys? Anybody? Nah. Who's here has ever lost their phone? Well, way before I was a professional organizer, one of my girlfriends who was super organized, I didn't even know what that really was at that point with ADD. She got me a key holder. And to this day, it is still beside my front door holding my keys. Thank goodness for my girlfriend, Ren. Little systems and little things like this can mean the world of a difference when you're trying to get out the door and just for your overall sanity. I will never get rid of my little key holder. It's precious to me. It's just a good thing. And that's one small thing. So money is also an energy commodity, right? So when you're organized, you're going to save money. You're going to stop buying duplicates of things that you already own that you can't find. You're going to stop having 5 staplers and no staples, right? That's what's going to happen when you get organized. Every single client that I work with finds money. It's so funny. You know, there's only been a handful of clients over the 20 years who didn't find or make money. Almost, I'd say 99.9% of them do while they're getting organized. You know, I have one client who won the whole lotto. We found $78,000 worth of money. That's just one. Another, I found $16,000 in stocks. Another, $2,000 in cash checks. I mean, it goes on and on. Bare minimum, when you organize, you're going to find gift cards. You're going to find dollar bills. You're going to find all sorts of stuff. So you do actually make money when you get organized almost every single time. And here's the thing, you have more time to give to everyone else when your money's simplified. And you'll inevitably find money, just like my client. This actually is one of my clients. I think she was 12 and she found a $5 bill, right? Or is it a dollar bill? No, it's a $10 bill. She found $10. And she also found this book, My Messy Room. And she showed it to me. Look, Miss Kathy, look at the book that I found. And then she found the money too. So here's the thing, you know, you're not only found money, she not only found money hidden in the bottom of her closet, she refound her Messy Room book. Is that ironic or what? Yeah, pretty much. One of my clients is a very busy single mom of 2 special needs kids. She works full time. And at one point when she adopted these kiddos as a single mom, her life spun out of control. Her niece hired me to come in and help, and she's the one we were able to find $84,000 in expired checks. We were able to get them reissued. And here's the thing, you're always going to find money when you get organized. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So here's the thing as well. Getting organized is a journey, right? It's not a destination. Getting organized is an ongoing process. And it takes time and it takes effort to develop new habits and new systems. Even if you have a new system, if you don't spend the time practicing that new habit to keep the system in place, see, it goes on and on and on. So I'd like you to just go easy on yourself and be patient as you work towards greater productivity and greater organization within your home, because it doesn't happen instantly. It is an ongoing process, and it gets better and better and better with a little bit of practice. And remember that 80% of your results are only going to come from 20% of your action. So working harder is not the answer at all. It's strategy. It's knowing what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and where to put it, and what to get rid of, right? Strategy and planning are the keys to getting fast and lasting results. Again, when your external environment is cleared, your head becomes cluttered, and clearing your clutter always clears your headspace. So if you feel like you're spinning out of control and your mind's just going 50 miles an hour and you don't really have a grip on things, do a little bit of clearing. I guarantee you it's going to change your headspace. And when you think more clearly, you get more done in less time. And back to that, time is finite, right? So creating space is a requirement for change. You have to have space. You can't change. Just like my girlfriend who was sick as my prayer partner, I'm like, girlfriend, you're never going to be able to change if you're surrounded by all this stuff, right? So you have to give yourself space to expand and space to change. That's what's important. I mean, could you imagine getting your big project done without spending the next year trying to finish it? This is what happens when you're organized. Picture this. You're in a beautiful, clutter-free home office. Your desk is cleared and open for business. And in a month from now, while working in this clutter-free office, what do you think your life's going to be like? Would you feel like you're more in charge? Would you feel like you're more in charge of your business, more in charge of your life? What do you think you'd do differently, right? Would you get more done and spend less time actually in your office, having more fun with friends and family? And what, most importantly, if you have a spouse or a partner, what are they going to say, right? What are your kids going to think when all of a sudden you're free on the weekends? It's pretty exciting, right? The number one thing I know to be true is that clutter, I like to call it muck in my first book, How to Master Your Muck. It's a powerful saboteur of creative expression. And when you're surrounded by stuff, it's hard to bring your gifts to the world. My goal as a professional organizer is to help each and every one of my clients thrive. Thrive to me means you're using your unique gifts and you're giving them into the world, because the more we give, the more we get. The more we give, the better we feel. I wanted to say, make da, 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 da. Remember that jingle? Anyhow, so, I want you all to thrive. That's the whole point. And you can't thrive when you're surrounded and drowning in stuff. So I'm going to give you some steps. Okay. Step number 1, gather. Now, what you want to do is you want to gather all of your stuff together. Now, I had a client who went through this process, and she published her first book less than a year after she organized her workspace. And so that's back to thriving, right? You can do that too, no matter what you're up against. My clients always say, hey, I'm scared, right? But guess what? Nothing is insurmountable. So when you know what to do and take action to do it, you're going to do it. So decluttering follows the basic steps. Step 1 is gather. What that means is that you're going to actually put stuff like with like, and you're going to gather them together, right? After you've gathered them together, that's the only way that you're able to sort. So you're going to let's take, for instance, you're going to do all your office supplies. You're going to grab them all together and you're going to put them all in a pile. You're going to grab them from all different parts of your house, right? Grab them all around. Then you're going to sort, and you're going to sort them like with like. So this is how we came up with 5 staplers and no staples with my one client, is because she was sorting them all. And she's like, oh my God, how did I come up with 5 staplers? I don't know. I wish I had $5 for every time a client asked me that. And we're like, where's the staples? Don't know. You're going to find that out when you sort, right? So you're going to sort, then you're going to purge, because you're going to say, I don't need 5 staplers. I don't need it. So you're going to remove the unnecessary items from the piles. You're going to get rid of things that you don't need or use regularly. And you're going to divide your items into keep, donate, or throw away, right? So as you're purging, you're going to have 3 different piles. I know you've heard this, but it's true. But what happens is a lot of people do this, but they haven't gathered and they haven't sorted first. So now that you're purging, you're going to go, okay, am I keeping it? Am I going to donate it? Or is it trash? Right? So you'll have your 3 different piles about that. Keep, donate, trash. And something to ask yourself, not only do I use it or need it, do I love it? So this is where we come into like sentimental things or things that have been passed on to us that we don't really love, but we feel responsible for keeping, right? So if you don't use it, need it, or love it, you should get rid of it. Move your good forward. And moving your good forward allows you to thrive, which is the whole point. We all want to thrive, right? And do what we want to do in the world and not be possessed by our possessions. So you're going to purge. After that, you're going to contain. Now, a lot of my clients get this backwards. My clients love containers and they love boxes and they love bags and all that good stuff, but you don't want to buy any containing devices until you have gathered, sorted, purged. Because then when you've purged, you're like, okay, this is how many I have of this. Then you can actually contain it. And here's the thing about containing, okay? You want to have a yard around each collection of things. So you've heard of a home, a container makes a home, right? So everybody says, make a home for your place. Where does it live, right? Well, you have to have a place for it to live. And typically it's a container of some sort. And the container could be literally a container, or it could be a drawer, or it could be a cupboard, right? Whatever the container area is. But here's where most people fail. There's no yard around the home. What I mean by the yard is you need room to grow. You need room to expand, because guess what? We all expand. We always get more stuff, right? So you want to have a space that allows you to get one more thing. Take, for instance, you have, let's just say, let's go to your Tupperware containers, right? So you've gathered all your Tuppers together. You figured out what lids you have. There's always a lid that's a rogue lid and a container bottom that's rogue, whatever. You're getting rid of all that. Then you're going to have your collection of Tuppers, right? So I don't want you to put them in a cabinet where there's not a single inch of room to add another Tupper. Because as soon as that happens, especially the holidays, you're going to come home with extra Tuppers and then the system's going to break, right? So without that yard around it, your system will fail you immediately. And this is where a lot of people will fall down, and they'll spend all the time organizing and all the time creating the spaces, but then they don't leave themselves room to grow. And you are going to grow and you are going to expand, because that's life. We are creative, expansive human beings, right? We're going to get more stuff. So you want to make sure that you have that yard around whatever it is contained. After that, you're going to label. Okay. So labeling's good for a lot of different reasons. It's good for you and your sanity, especially if you're putting it in a container of sorts, right? But also if it's in a cupboard or a cabinet, it's a good thing to label. It helps your people help you. So if you live with people and you actually open up the cupboard door and there's a little label that says, this is where the Tupperware lives, or Tuppers, right? It helps people help you, and it helps keep the system intact. So labeling is very important. And, you know, as a pro organizer, I have like 5 label makers of all different sizes, sorts, and breeds, depending on what I need for. So you want to label. That's super important because it helps you remember. It also helps others that might want to help you stay organized. Now, after you've containerized and labeled, you've gathered, you've sorted, you've purged, you've containerized, you've labeled, then you're going to find out a home. You're going to find, where is it going to live? So where is it going to live? Like, what is it? And what makes sense, right? So you need a home for this thing. And again, with the container and with the home, you want to have room to expand. Back to the example of having the Tupperware cabinet, you want to have space for one more. Pots and pans, you want to have space for one more. Knives, you want to have space for one more, right? So as you create the home, you want to make sure that you also have room to grow. And the home is where you're going to label. You can label the container and you can label the home. That's going to help you and help other people that want to help you. Hopefully, you'll have someone in your world that wants to help you. Even if it's not a life mate or a spouse, it could be a kid, it could be a nanny, it could be a cleaning person. If it's labeled, things might possibly go into the right space. Speaking of that, a little trick that I came up with my cleaning lady is, cleaning ladies, they love to put stuff away. They just do, because if they put stuff away, then they can clean better. So what I came up with, which works really, really well, is I'm like, hey, Rosie, if you come up with something and you don't know where it lives, please leave it on the kitchen counter. I would get home and then there'd be like 3 things laying there that I could put away because I know right where they go. If she would have tried to put them away, she could have broken the system, right? So that's just a little tip in case you have something, someone that cleans for you that likes to put stuff away. Just tell them to leave it on the kitchen counter if they don't know where it is. Also, after you've done this process and you do have homes and you do have containers and things are labeled, you want to give the people a tour in your family. You want to give the people a tour that are in your stuff, so that they kind of know where things go as well. That'll help you maintain that system. Is this making sense so far? Okay. So the yard, don't forget about the yard. Without a yard, your system's going to fail. So you add one more item, I know you will, your system's going to fail. So your space will be full again and moving things around to fit the new item into it. The last thing you want to do is have to take something out to put something in. It's just not a good thing. So that yard is super duper 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 important. According to a survey conducted by Sparefoot, which was a self-storage place, 55% of the Americans feel their home is cluttered. 47% say they have trouble finding things due to clutter. And I know that I've talked a great deal about getting organized, right? And it doesn't matter where you are in the process of getting organized or putting better systems in place, no matter how much or how little you have, each new system you build is going to support you. That's specifically why my company is called Organized and Energized. I know for a fact that when you get organized, you create more energy. And who doesn't want more energy? I know I can use more energy all the time, right? So we all want more energy, so get more organized. And not only back to that, does clutter doesn't just affect your head, it doesn't affect your workspace, it affects your headspace. And you can't make a difference if you can't find anything. And the new normal for people in business now is that the average person wastes 3 hours a week looking for things they know they have, but they can't find. 3 hours a week. What you might not realize about this is the new normal of being cluttered is literally taking money out of your pocket if you're an entrepreneur. Those 3 hours add up to a month wasted every year, which creates a snowball effect, right? Which leads to less profit. And who would like to get a month back of their life every year? I would. Yeah. Raise your hand for that. I know we all would. So clutter is an energy vampire. There's just no doubt about it. And when your environment is cluttered, your head becomes cluttered, and clearing your clutter will help your headspace. And when you begin to think more clearly, you're going to get much more done in less time. Yeah, much more done in less time. Leslie, you're funny. I'm not spying on you. I just know who you are. So, creating space is a requirement for change, and you can't change without the space to allow new thoughts. And can you imagine like how cool it would be to get that big project done? Because now you're clear, like you're thinking clearly, there's nothing distracting you, because piles and clutter are energy vampires and they grab our thoughts. Like, especially as women, every single little pile is silently screaming at you for things that are left undone, right? And in a month from now, when you're working in a clutter-free office, what would you think your life would be like? What do you think you'd do differently? Can you think about that? Would you get more done and spend less time working? Yeah. What's your spouse going to say? What's your kids going to say when they see the new normal of things actually having a place? And you know what? It's never too young to teach your children. My youngest client is 5 years old. And he actually was organizing his art that he was bringing home from preschool. So that kids learn vicariously from you. So whether you have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they're going to learn by watching what you're doing, right? Very important. A survey by the National Association of Realtors says the top reasons people declutter their homes is to make it easier or to organize or to create more space or to improve the overall cleanliness of their home. 42% say that. The desire to reduce stress and improve mental well-being is also a really big factor in decluttering. Here's a good one. According to the American Cleaning Institute, which I didn't even know there was one, 90% of respondents believe that a clean and organized home positively impacts their well-being. Yeah, I know for a fact that it does because I see it happens. One of my clients told me this story. It happened to her the week before we met. She just signed a loan for her car and she was late for the appointment to sell her car. She had to meet the guy at the DMV. She wasted 2 hours trying to find the title while the guy was waiting at the DMV. She called her brother and said, can you please meet this guy at the DMV and keep him there? I just can't find the title. And he did. But when she showed up, she was able to sell the car, but her brother lit up on her and just made her feel like a schmuck. And that's why she decided she was finally going to get her papers organized, because the last thing you want to do is show up late. And this is if you find yourself showing up late, it could be because you have too much stuff. It'll weigh you down and snag your time. So clutter costs more than money. She was stressed out. She almost lost the sale. Her brother was ticked off. And then on top of all that, she was late to work. She couldn't even go to work on time because of all that. So you see how clutter costs way more than money. Interesting. Here's a counter. One of my clients. Do you think these paper piles promotes happiness in her home? No, this is her kitchen counter, right? No, I don't think so. Piles are the number one argument between spouses. When I get into a situation where I'm organizing people, piles are the number one thing. The guy can't understand what the pile's doing there. The girl can't understand how the pile happened. It's just what happens. And this is a big argument factor. In fact, always when I work with couples, they're both pointing at each other going, they're the culprit. They're the ones that are creating these piles. They're the ones that are causing this mayhem. It's kind of interesting. So, you want to clear your headspace. You want to get more done in time and have to have space. Creating space is a requirement to change. If you have less piles, you have more energy. You have less stuff that's undone in your life, right? And then you have more time. And when you have time, I don't know about you, when you have a weekend off, you're energized, pretty much so, right? So less piles, more energy. One of my clients said it this well. Actually, she hired me to come in. She had moved into this gorgeous home on a golf course, but she never got to golf. Reason being, she had so much stuff. She spent a year trying to organize her home. She still couldn't do it. And she felt guilty. So this is another thing that clutter will do. It'll put you into guilt, right? Because she had the never-ending task of sorting through her stuff and she just couldn't get it done. So she couldn't play golf. So we worked through and we sorted through all of her stuff. We got everything organized. We actually donated like boxes and boxes and boxes of Halloween stuff to the local school. And now I never hear from her. She's, we got rid of her storage unit, got rid of that, put a little loft in her garage for all the extra stuff. And now she's playing golf all the time. Happy ever after, moved to a golf course. Now she actually does that. Do you see how clutter can stop you from living a life, right? Living a life or having experiences that you want to have? Yeah. So here's the thing. If you don't take control of your stuff, your possessions will possess you. Absolutely. Remember this, only 20% of the stuff in your life makes a difference to you. You might think it does, but only 20% is going to actually serve you. 80% is going to be fluff. So as you're clearing your stuff, you have to ask yourself, do I love it? Do I use it? Do I need it? If it fails these litmus, it's clutter and it should be gone out of your life. Because here's another thing too, you don't want to be a burden on your family. And if you have inherited items and you're going to have other inherited items go down generation. I work with this. I work with grandparents, great-grandparents, grandkids, great-grandkids. It's all a whole big thing where people are in guilt and they can't get rid of things. So you don't want to leave feelings of guilt with anybody when you're gone. And it's a really hard thing to deal with other people's possessions after they've gone. It's hugely hard. Yeah, I see you nodding your head. Yes, it is. It's harsh. But here's the thing. Don't feel guilty because you don't love what your mom loved. What your mom loved had nothing to do with your life, so you can let it go and move it on to someone who will really love it. If you have a storage unit, please get rid of it. That's a super way to stop money from leaking out of your life real quick. Get rid of the storage unit. I would guarantee you, this is actually one of my clients, I can guarantee you that you probably don't know half of what's in there, and it's definitely not worth even paying to store it. So the bottom line is it pays to get your life organized, especially when you have a storage unit. My fees pay for themselves. But no matter what, it always pays to get organized, always. Now, here's the thing. It's time for you to take action. I really want you to go start doing this stuff, right? I want you to start collecting, start gathering, start purging, start organizing, start storing, start labeling, right? But here's something that I have that will help you. In fact, I know for a fact it will. I have what's called the Get It Done Open Office Power Hours. I am there 2 hours a week, 2 hours a month with my people, and I'm helping them get stuff done. I have people that are working on their house. I have people that are working on their business. Doesn't matter what they're working on. 2 hours a month, I am there in a small group setting to help. And one of my clients, she's a really amazing graphic artist. In fact, she actually created the font, the daily font. And this is the way she said it. Having the weight of clutter being lifted from my space is huge. Okay. She had an overwhelming feeling of not being able to wade through the stuff, and it seemed insurmountable. Now her business is flowing, and her business really opened wide up for her, and she probably has created another font at this point. What happens with the Power Hour is there's ongoing training. Every week, every month, I'm there 2 hours for you in bi-monthly sessions. Now, I also have direct access. You have direct access to me, and this is a $300 an hour thing, but I'm right there for you. So that's what's part of the Power Hour. Also, it's an elite community. It's a very small group, and so I'm able to really help people one-on-one. And you have exclusive access to my book. As a Power Hour member, you get my book so that you can follow through, and then you get action-packed sessions. So twice a month, you're going to say, this is what I'm working on, Kath. This is what I'm going to do. And we actually get down to business and we work. And I provide resources that might, that will help. What's cool about this too is I have 2 Kickstarter courses depending on what track you're on. I have the home office organization course, and it's valued at $497. And then I also have the home organization course that's valued at $497. So depending on if you're clearing your home or you're clearing working on your workspace, you get one of those courses depending on what track you want to take for the Power Hour. And so free, and they're both valued at $497. So you get that, and you get the book, and which is How to Master Your Muck, and you get me. So You get a lot of stuff with this, and I'm there to just cheerlead you on and keep you going. So what happens is you do an intake form saying what you're going to do every month, and I'm there to support you throughout it, and we work on it. And here's the thing, it's not going to cost that much money. It's going to cost $1. I'm doing a Thanksgiving. This is the year, this is the month, right, to give. I'm giving this instead of $97 for only $1, right? You get the home office organization system or home organizing, depending on your track. You get the free book, and then you get me, and it's valued at over $1,100. But today it's $1. There's going to be a link in chat that you can go ahead and sign in. There's no obligation. There's no contract. Okay. You can join the Get It Done Power Hour for just $1. You can check it out. We meet twice a month for an hour time, and you can go ahead and start getting things done. So bare minimum, if you just want to start the decluttering of your house, jump in for $1. I'll help you for a couple sessions. If you like it, we keep going. If you say I'm done and you did all your job, then you can quit. But either way, you get the course, you get the book, you get me for 2 more hours to ask any question that you want. And then for the first person who jumps onto this, you get a 1-hour jumpstart call with me. And I really like that because I can help you just really focus on, many of us have a lot of things that we want to work on, but we're not really sure where to start or how it will work, right? Or most of us, quite honestly, most of my clients are in overwhelm, and they're just not seeing clearly, right, on what they need to do or what they need to do first, second, third, fourth. So that 1-hour jumpstart call for the first person is valuable. That's valued at $300 right there. So it's just $1. It's not any big deal. You can jump in, see what you like, go to the Get Organized and Energized Power Hour. It should be in chat. I think the link is in chat, or you can scan it. And now I am open for questions. So if you're muted, you can unmute yourself. I'd love to see you in the Power Hour. We have a lot of fun every month. And I have some people that are working on starting a new podcast. I have some people that are working on clearing their clutter. I have some people that are trying to get rid of their paper piles. Everybody's working on different things, and that's the fun part of it. So does anybody have questions about the offer or what it is or anything like that? I can't really quite see chat, so I'm not sure. I don't know why chat went away.
Oh, hi. I would love for you to list the 7 points so I can capture those because I was driving.
No problem. Okay, so you're going to start and you're going to group. You're going to group light items together, right? Then you're going to, so you're gathering, gathering's number 1. Then you're going to group. Okay, you're going to group them into like with like things. After that, you're going to purge, because you're going to see that I don't need 5 staplers. I might need just 1 or 2. Right, so you'll purge. And during that purge process, you're going to go donate, keep, or trash, right? Then you're going to containerize, figure out how big of a collection each of those is. And then you're going to label so that you know what it is. Then you're going to find the home for it. Right? So where is it going to live in your life? And remembering that the home needs to have a yard around it so that you can expand, because you will expand. And those are your steps. I appreciate the question. I hope that helps you. I'd love to hear, even if you don't join Power Hour, which I hope all of you join Power Hour just because it's a blast and it's $1. That even if you don't join, like, reach out to me and let me know what happened with your process. I'd love to just see what's going on, and love to see what's going on in your life and what kind of progress you made. It always makes me feel good to know that I made impact and made change. But thanks for that question. Anybody else have any questions? I went a little bit over my 30-minute time, so I like to respect your time and not waste your time. But if you have questions, I'm here for you for as long as you need.
So, Kathi, I have joined Power Hour, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but I'm going to be a challenge. I'm going to guess I'm probably about the most in need of your service of anybody you've ever encountered.
Well, I doubt it, but okay. I've been doing it 20 years, Leslie. So welcome to the Power Hour. I'm very excited to have you. And
I
you
think that it's part personality type, part yeah, I've been doing behavioral therapy for a lot of kind of life skills that didn't develop in early life, and now they're catching up with me. So this will be the next one I take on now that I've got diet, sleep, and exercise under control. But
oh,
I'm looking forward to it.
congratulations, Leslie or Kelly. I'm so excited for you. And you know, this is what it is. It's change. It's small incremental things. It sounds like you're on the path. And now it's time to just let's control the environment, right? And controlling the environment, controlling the way you use your time. You've already gotten a lot of that, I can tell by going through the process. So I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And congratulations. I don't know if you're the first one, but in chat, you said you're the first one. So I don't really know. I'll find out afterwards and then we'll let you know if you're the first one that signed up. But yeah, and you're in Huntsville. All right.
I am actually, I'm in Crane Hill, Alabama, which is 15 minutes from the nearest gas station, 45 minutes from the nearest grocery store, but 20 minutes from $4 Generals. If you live in a rural area, you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I lived in Mobile for a little while, but it wasn't really Mobile. It was called Theodore. And it was
Okay.
way out on Pecan Farm, far away from pretty much everything. So I'm with you
Yep.
on that, sister. I did that for a little while. I love Mobile Bay. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Anything that I can answer? Any burning? You've got me here, so ask away. And I think you're all muted, so I think that probably you can unmute yourself. If you can't unmute yourself, let me know, and my VA can help you. All right. Well, the link's in chat. Go ahead and check it. It's just $1. Come on now. You can do $1. And that means that we will get to see each other. What is this? We have, oh, the one is next week. So it's always, I can never remember if it's the first or third or the second and fourth. I think it's the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. Oh yeah. So it's going to be next week. Yep. So we'll see you then. And it's for an hour. And you get the course. Hey, and also, figure out the track. Okay, we'll figure out the track. I think Kelly left, but you can be on the home organizing track or the home office organization track. So, oh, Kelly, okay, yeah. So do you want to do home or office? They're both kind of the same, one affects the other. So yeah.
That's tough.
Oh, what time zone are you in?
Eastern Standard.
Okay, so it's 12 to 1. Hold on, let me triple check my calendar. Yeah, it's 12 to 1. So that would be 3 to 4. Will you double check that for me, Janine? You're on there. I can't grab my calendar right now. You will get the emails every single time saying when it is with the link and all that good stuff. You're also going to have a portal where you can put in at the top of every hour. What happens is cool is you'll have your own Google document and you're going to state what you want to do. And then I'm going to provide resources for you and we'll talk about it. And then you get started and get going. Then we come back in and do a check to see what you did. So do you have a business?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's all like just showing up online.
Yeah,
So
it's a Zoom call.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Zoom call and good. Janine just put it in there. It's 3 p.m. Eastern. So 3 to 4.
Perfect.
And it's the first and so for what week is this? I'm kind of a little bit out of it this week because I've been gone trying to figure out. Yeah, it's first and third, right, Janine? Or is it the second and fourth? I think it is. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, I think it's the second and fourth. No, it's the first and third. Yeah, it's the first and third because sometimes we have that's what screwed me up because we had 5 weeks last time. So, people were saying, is it now? I was like, no, that's the 5th. So it's the first and third always. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited, Kelly. This is going to be fun. So, I hope that you're the first one to sign up. I'm not sure that you are, but if you are, I'd like to do a 1 hour to try to get you figured out on what track do you want to go down? Do you want to go down the home office or the home organizing? And then we can get you started on that. So we'll figure out who's the first, or hopefully you're the first. I don't know. I know someone else was in there as well. So anyhow, any other questions? Zenobia, I love your name. Kimberly, you look very familiar to me. And Roberta, I think I met you too before. Somewhere. No? Okay. Okay, anybody else? Last call for questions. Last call for the buck offer. It's just going to happen this month to get in for a buck because it is Thanksgiving month. It's my month to give back.
So Kathy, which is the first day, since it's the first and third Tuesday? What would be the Tuesday then this month?
Let me look at my calendar. Next Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, get it done power hour. Tuesday the 19th.
Got it.
Yeah, 3 o'clock your time. And you'll be getting an email about that anyhow. You'll get it.
Okay.
I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Okay. Anybody else? Cool. Well, I very much appreciate you. Very much appreciate you being here. And yeah, I hope to see all of you next week. Next week, 3 o'clock. We'll see you then. See you guys. Take care.